The metasynthesis and meta-analysis effect on research translation. Metasynthesis entails bringing qualitative data together to interpret new research and is an emerging technique in the field of medicine. It has the potential to employ several distinct research techniques. However, its appropriateness or effectiveness is achieved when used in a specific scientific research field. The technique assists in developing theory. However, it should not be confused with meta-analysis that tests quantitative data hypothesis. Theories like implementation, program, or explanatory are primarily generated and help explain why the technique sometimes fails to work, as well as evaluation with trial results or theory for future testing. Metasynthesis is, therefore, best designed to reinterpret meaning across a variety of qualitative research. Metasynthesis follows 6 stages. Meaning reinterpretation occurs through time frame, question, sources and searches, selection, appraisal, and synthesis. The effect of metasynthesis on research translation comes through focusing on existing research translation followed by systematically comparing the information in and across other studies. While research translation and comparison occur, the relationship between main themes is retained, and thematic analysis is included. On the other hand, a meta-analysis is an epidemiological, formal, and quantitative research that systematically evaluates the outcomes to derive conclusions from past research. Results associated with meta-analysis tend to include precise estimates of risk or treatment factor effects on diseases or associated results compared to individual research that contributes to a pooled analysis. Meta-analysis presents several benefits to research: a quantitative and consolidated review of a complicated, large, and conflicting literature body. The effects of meta-analysis on research translation allow for the investigation of various phenomena and the establishment of different causes. Moreover, meta-analysis is critical in determining which pharmaceuticals gain FDA approval and evidence-based practice. In the article Metasynthesis, an original method to synthesize quantitative literature in psychiatry, the study's method used detailed steps in a metasynthesis published in 2015. Lacal et al. Performed the analysis on young adults and adolescents with suicidal behaviors. Lacal et al. Explained several methodological themes via the latest literature on metasynthesis from the research. Using a 6-step approach, the researchers defined the question of the study alongside the inclusion criteria, chose the research, evaluated the quality of the research, and extracted and presented formal information. The remaining 2 phases in the approach entail data analysis and synthesis expression. In conclusion, the researchers provide a sufficient balance between an objective, rigorous scientific data analysis approach and essential researchers' subjectivity contribution in the final work contribution. Moreover, mental and clinical health professionals better recognize the standard research toolkit in psychiatry. In the article Quantitative Synthesis of Research Evidence, Multilevel Meta-Analysis, the quantitative summary permits suggestion-based, objective, and knowledgeable practice, study, and policy decisions. As per Moyart, the multilevel meta-analysis resulted in unbiased, powerful, and precise effect estimate sizes. Nonetheless, the use of the multilevel meta-analysis was restricted, and its full potential was never fully comprehended. Moreover, by familiarizing oneself with the method at a theoretical level, Moyart discusses its relevance and potential in evidence-based practice. The researcher illustrates that for a successful multilevel meta-analysis, the researcher must calculate participant-specific standardized side effects. Further, the researcher illustrates the multilevel meta-analysis process through a recent dataset constating single-case meta-analysis. Output tables, software codes, graphical displays, and interpretations of the effect estimate sizes are provided, allowing the reader to utilize the same practice to repeat the analysis associated with the research.